Okay, so I'm just going to do a little overview on this Protoboard that we have here. The way that it's laid out is it's actually kind of like got three sections to it. The top section here is this red and blue, you know, where you've got this line here that's red, this line that's blue. They show a plus and a minus. They're trying to set you up and help you already by saying, okay, when you're going to wire things, you're going to need a voltage supply, right? And you'll have a positive end and a negative end. So what they do is they have this group of holes that runs along this red line. They're all connected together on this Protoboard, okay? And then this line of holes here, they're all connected together, and that they show next to the blue line, okay? So they're not connected. The red and the blue, you know, these two, if I look at this angle, right, if I call this a row, okay, row 1 is not connected to row 2, okay? But everybody in row 1 is connected together, okay? Same thing down here at the bottom. I've got a plus and a minus. I've got a red line and I've got a blue line, okay? And so this row that's next to the red line, they're all connected together. This row, which is next to the blue line, is all connected together, okay? And these guys are not connected to the upper set of rows, okay? Now within this breadboard here piece, this is really set up for you that you can put an integrated circuit chip, you know, in here, or you can run resistors and things like that. And what they do is they have them in two groups of 5. So here's 5 holes here, and say vertically, right, if we call this a column. So one column here, they denote these with letters A, B, C, D, E, right? So you can actually say, oh, and here's a, what column, right? Column 1, 2, 3, 4, column 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way down. So you could actually, if you wanted to map this out, you could map out a drawing of this and say, I want to put a resistor lead in, you know, number 35C, right? And then put another lead over in 25C or whatever, you know, you could do that. And then just duplicate it. Okay, but anyways, this group of 5 in one, call it a column, going up and down from this view, right? This 5 here, they're all connected together, but they're not connected to any adjacent column, okay? Same thing down here, we got F, G, H, I, J. Those 5 are all connected together, okay? But they're not connected to any adjacent holes, okay? So for example then, if I wanted to, I'm just going to go further here and say, okay, what would I do here? Let's say I wanted to build a circuit, right? And I was going to put 5 volts in ground, okay, to it, right? So here I have a digital trainer, but I could have a separate power supply, right? And so I would say, let's just say I'll put a wire that goes into this row, the blue row, and I'll put a wire that goes into the red row, okay? And then if I wanted to, in this case with the digital trainer, I can just take and plug this wire into plus 5 volts, and I can plug this wire into ground. Alright, and so now I have 5 volts here on all of these, and I have ground on all of these. And so here, this bottom part, right, there's nothing connected to it. There's no voltage going to be here at all. If I want to, I can add some wires, you know, and I typically add them over here. So I'll make the plus go down to the plus at the bottom, okay? And then I'll make the minus go to the minus at the bottom. And so now, because I've added those 2 wires, now this is also 5 volts running along here, and this is also ground along here. So that way, if I put a chip in, and so let me just take an example. I'm going to put a chip in here, okay, and I'm putting it in those holes, okay. So this is why this is separate here, right? I don't want to have any connection between these 4 pins of the chip and those 4 pins of the chip, right? So that's why they separate them like that, and it's nice setup. You can put in the chip like that, okay. Now let's say I wanted to I've got to connect power and ground, you know, to the chip, right? Then, you know, let's say that this pin is power, right? So I'm going to take, I know all those 5 are connected, and then I'm going to run this over to my plus 5 volts, right? Now I know I've got 5 volts coming in here, going through this wire into the pin on the chip that needs 5 volts. And let's say this pin is ground. So I can run here, any one of these holes is connected to that pin, and then I want to run this to ground. Okay? So now I've got this pin connecting to ground, and then it connects through here, goes back up, this is ground, and goes to the ground. Okay? So now I have this chip wired up, and I can make other connections to it, right? And I could, you know, let's say I got to put a resistor on, and I'm going to connect, you know, say this pin. This is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pins, right? This is pin 6, and I want to run a wire, this resistor between pin 2 and 6. So I can put resistor like that in those holes, and now they're going to be connected between pin 2 and pin 6. Okay, so that's how that works. And let's say I was going to just build some circuit divider, resistor circuit or something, right? So I could put in one lead. I can just put one lead of the resistor directly into the 5 volts, if that's going to be connected to 5 volts, right? I can do that. And then if I want, I can just take then, and I got to make another connection, so I can put resistor in like this. It's going into the same column of holes, right? So these are going to be connected. I don't have to, you know, wrap the leads of the resistors with each other, right? And then I want to go to ground. Well, I know along this blue wire, because I've connected it up like this is ground. So I can put one lead in here, which goes to ground, and I can put the other lead where this hole for this resistor goes in, right? That group of 5, and then this connects to ground. So then when I turn on 5 volts, then the current comes out of 5 volts, goes into this red bar, right? The red line, those set of holes, goes through that resistor, goes through this resistor, goes through this resistor, goes to ground, and then goes back to the power supply. Okay? So that's how I use this breadboard. Okay?